You're younger than I am.
Oh, thank you. Still have hot flashes.
Yeah.
Have hot yes.
I have, my brother was born the same year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The perfect year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's share to our group. And we're going live to Facebook. Just 1 second while that happens. Got it. Yep. I am my own assistant, so bear with me for a moment while I do all of this stuff that I normally
Very
do.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I think that all harpists in the world are own assistants. So
that's right.
yeah, they don't have a managers.
No, maybe that's better. Okay, welcome everyone, and those who are watching later to the Improvising Harpist. Doris, I'm going to ask you to tell me the correct pronunciation of your last name.
My last name is Karamatić.
Karamatić.
Yes, there is no K. Our C is called, it's C, Karamatić. It's specific because it's Slavic. It's Slavic, yes. But also, if you call me Karamatic, I will understand. It's no problem. And the best is Doris.
The best is Doris. And does your last name have a meaning?
No, it is on Turkish is Kara, it's black, and it's like name, but it's not my name, second name by the born, because it was my husband's last name. And after divorce, I didn't take back my name because it was very, very long time ago, and most of people are familiar with the Karamatić. So
all right.
I leave it, and especially I leave it because of my son in Croatia. We are a very, very small country, and there is a lot of stigma about kids who are from divorced people. So I leave that second name for him, and now it's okay.
Nice.
Yes.
So Mary is joining in from New England in the Northeast United States. I'm in Denver, Colorado. Cindy and Nick, if you like to hop in the chat and tell us where you're dialing in from, that would be really fun. And so I want to start off by asking you, Doris, to tell us a little bit about how you got started as a harpist. And you've been playing for a long time. Yeah.
Yes, that is a very, very funny story. So I was born in 1971, and in the age of 6, I started to go to music school. So just for a little bit explanation about where I am from, I'm from Central Europe, Croatia, and it's a very, very small country. It's 4 million people in my country. And on the time when I was born, it was Yugoslavia. It was like 6 countries together. We was the one country. So it was very different. We was socialistic, communist, and everything like that. So we didn't have too much things to do, like kids to go on some activities or something. And I started to go to music school and play violin. So, okay, I didn't like that violin. I like piano so much. But from the beginning, I was sure that I will be the musician. But I didn't know, and professional musician, but I didn't know in which way I will go. And after the primary schooling of violin, I decided to go on piano to be my main instrument on music school. And that's the miracle happened, because there wasn't place on piano. There wasn't teacher, there was enough place for new pupil. And they told me, you can go on the other instrument, because harp is... notes for harps are written in 2 keys, in a violin and bass. And it is the same like on piano. So you can start on harp, and after that, you can transfer to piano. And my first meeting with the harp was, okay, I'm in love. That was it. So I start in the age of 14 to play harp, but with the knowledge from before. So I wasn't absolutely beginner because I know how to read sheets and music, and I go to music school, like classical music school. Yeah.
And then did you play mostly solo? Did you have a small orchestra that you played with?
Okay, the basic thing is that I didn't want to leave a violin with the harp also. So I transferred to viola, who like Victor Borg once told that the difference between violin and viola is that viola burns longer. So yeah, I transferred to viola and put the two main instruments, and I was playing on harp solo, but with viola I do the quartets, duets, orchestra and everything. And so that was on my primary and secondary schooling. After on college was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you played harp all the way through from secondary school.
Yes, from secondary school, from
Yeah.
my 15 until today.
Until today.
Yeah.
So interesting that I watched a documentary on the International Harp Competition that's in Bloomington, Indiana. And they interviewed, of course, all the harpists who were competing that year. And so many of them said they knew they wanted to be a musician or a harpist at age 6.
Oh, nice.
Specifically.
Okay.
Specifically. And that's when I was first introduced to the harp as well. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I took a very detoured kind of route back to the harp. It took me a very long time to actually start playing the harp. But there's something that turns on in musicians at age 6. So many of them said, I knew at age 6 this is what I wanted to do. So I'm always interested that my ears perk up whenever someone says age 6 is when I knew this is what I wanted to do. So
yes. But basically in ex-Yugoslavia, it wasn't easy to have a harp. Harp was and still is in my country very, very strange instrument because it's not common. It's very difficult. We have one in all country. We have like 3 harps.
Wow.
Not now, but back in time. So it was very, very difficult. We need to go to school to practice. We didn't have instruments at home. So for me, it was very, very challenging and makes me feel special.
Yeah.
Because it's
so
different.
How did the school end up with a harp? Do you know the story? How the school had the harp?
Yes, because we have a national orchestra, and in orchestra was playing the harpist, and she at one point told people that they need to have a harp, like section of harp. It's normal, but it was like just 4 of us, and nobody of us didn't have like main instrument. They start with a like second instrument harp, and in my generation. And nobody after that, because after we was leave at college, 4 of us, they cancel that segment of harp in that music school. They canceled, but all 4 of us end up in the other town in Philharmonic Orchestra and everything. We are together all the time. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So interesting. So there are no harps in primary and secondary schools now?
There is now. Okay. In the meantime, what's happening in Croatia? So during the 90s, we have a war here, and it was like 5 or 6 years of war with Serbia. So the ex-Yugoslav doesn't exist anymore. So we are a separate country, and we are now Croatia. After the war, few years after that, everything started to happen better. To be better, especially after 2000. And now we have also primary harpist school. We have leveler harps, professional harps, a few colleges, 10 different music schools, private teachers. So everything is very, very different than from the days when I was starting.
Mm-hmm. So how many young harpists do you think there are in Croatia now?
Now it's more than 30, 40, but I don't think that they will have a job.
Mm.
Yes, it's especially when you go in Croatia in college. After that, you want to find a job, but there is so little needed for job for like to be professional in orchestra. It's like 4 million people in all Croatia, and we have like 10 professional orchestra in all country, and every orchestra need one harpist.
Right.
And if she is wealthy or she is pregnant, you can go 1 year to play. But if she is wealthy and she can play 30, 35 years. It's very, very specific.
Yeah, I understand. So back to your story. So you finished secondary school, high school, and then where did you go to college?
In Zagreb. Yes, I was born in Split. It's Mediterranean. And after that, I go in Zagreb because it was only academy, we call it academy, college, for a harp. And it was only option, but for me, it's most favored because I was from the young age fall in love with the Zagreb, with the town. So it wasn't so hard for me. And I was there. And after the college, a few years after, I get my permanent job in orchestra of city theater Komedija. It's called Komedija, comedy, like comedy. And we are theater who performs operettes and musicals. We are very, very specific theater. And after that job, I start to have a PhD. I think that's it's the right pronounce that it's PhD.
Yep.
After the college, okay, in Vienna. I was in Vienna, yes, and 1 year to take lessons of jazz and improvisation of Professor Monica Stadler. And it is very, very interesting because Vienna, it's like 300 kilometers from Zagreb. It's so close to Zagreb. It's like 3 hours. So I was one week go in Vienna by bus and come back, have a lesson, come back, and it was very, very nice. Yeah.
And so in your bio, you said that you started to move away from the classical repertoire.
Yes.
And what got more interested in playing heavy metal? I want to hear about that.
Okay, I will tell you. So basically, the thing is like this. I don't want to put the music in boxes like this is jazz, this is like this. I like to put in 2 parts, good or bad music for me. So heavy metal and hard rock is something that moves me. But it is very, very difficult because you are performing classical pieces. And so also, if we are talking about classical pieces, I adore Bach, Beethoven, Debussy, but I'm not so fan of Mozart, of like classical era. But I like Harp Sonata of Parry, who is strictly classical. So, and I start to basically on the parties in Croatia, and I assuming that's the same in the United States, that people, when you have party, you have somebody who is playing guitar. And always somebody plays guitar and people are singing. So I'm not so fond of Croatian music, Croatian pop music or folk or everything. I don't like it. And on every party, somebody will come with a guitar and playing some, for me, boring music, Rouge or something like that. And I was thinking, okay, if I can play guitar, everybody will singing what I will perform. And I perform Janis Joplin. She's my favorite. Janis Joplin, Eric Clapton, AC/DC, and everything. And after that, I start to say to myself, okay, if I can do that on guitar by three chords, and I have harp, it is very unusual because that was time 80s. I never heard anybody that performed something different on harp than classical pieces. I said, I think that I can play something on harp also.
Mm-hmm.
And I start with the song Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, I will perform you just a moment because it's, if it's not problem, because it's very...
Please. Can you move the microphone a bit closer to the harp?
I don't think so, but I will move the harp closer to microphone.
Okay. So we can't hear the harp.
You can't hear. Okay, yeah. That's basically because of my son told me that this mic is strictly for the voice.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yes.
Do you have a recordings of you playing this on YouTube?
Yes, I have recordings. But we can do something. This is only for voice. But I don't know why you can't hear. Maybe I can move just a little bit.
No, it's just...
Okay.
We hear your voice very clearly.
Yes, and you know what's happened? I think that when we moved on the surround settings, you asked me to move.
To make original sound. Yeah.
Okay. So can we meet back because I don't have any surrounds here. Where was there?
That was in the audio settings.
Audio settings, it is on the left side, so original sound for musicians off.
And we want it, we want it on.
Okay. Okay, now it's original sound for musician is on. Okay, so.
Yes!
Yeah, okay, I don't know why, maybe on the time when you start the stream. Okay, this was the beginning. It was very easy, it's very simple, just there is no music sheet. So thank you so much, Mary. And after that, I get invitation for St. Patrick's Day in Zagreb. It was still a war, and it was 1991, and Irish soldiers from Improvisation, who was here, wants to celebrate in one castle St. Patrick's Day. Of course, we never heard about St. Patrick's Day, and they was very, very nice and tell me that give me the music sheets for a few songs, like Carrick Fergus, something like that I can learn, and they give me audio cassette.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, I performed it, and that was the first time when I was on the stage and see that people, when I perform, not just me, when somebody with a harp perform, that everybody was so happy, and they are clapping and singing and everything like real party. And I said, okay, that's the sign, that's the way that I want to go. To have a happy faces that people can sing when I perform, that people can be relaxed and people can enjoy, not just a classical piece, okay, and then clapping, okay. When it's done, it's first movement, second movement, where it will be go. No, that was the beginning of my improvisations for everything.
And how old were you when that happened?
20 years.
Yeah. So you were well out of college, past your PhD.
No. It was before.
Oh, before.
Before. It was during my college. During my college education, and I was always asking, as a musician, during my process of learning music in music school, I was always asked my teachers and people around, but nobody can give me an answer. Why is everything about music so serious when you go in music school? It was the main question from my first concert when I was young. Why are people so serious if they are listening? Why, if you are perhaps playing a different tune or a wrong note, it's the end of the world? Why everything needs to be so like competition to get a better grade from? Oh my God. So for me, it was questioned from the early age, and I didn't want to have that. Because for me, music is something that people need to enjoy. And music is for everybody.
Yes, everybody. Nick and I have been having a little conversation on Facebook the last few days about this very topic. Do you have a question or a comment, Nick? Because I know we've been talking about this. You say amen.
Thank you, Nick. Thank
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. There's a wonderful book called The Artist's Way that talks about how the academic world is about taking things apart. And the artistic world is about putting things together.
Yes.
And so when you're in music school, it's all about take things apart, be very serious, it's deconstructive.
Yes, yes. It is very nice to have a discipline and to learn how to have discipline, because basically in anything what you do in the not just music, in anything what you do, you need a discipline. You need to learn. You need to repeat to be better. But it doesn't have to be so serious. It can be a little bit easier than it's happened to be. So that was like my mission. And of course, when you watching Marx Brothers, and especially Harpo Marx, you see how can it be. And also Victor Borg, it can be easy. You can play Mozart or Brahms on everything, that it was a kind of joke. And you can be a virtuoso on your instrument, and it looks like it's easy, and people are happy and funny. And that was, for me, like gold. And so I have my music stand-ups. I also do music stand-up. So that's the big part of my life. One, it's called Stand Down Harp. And the other stand-up is Me, Myself, and Harp. So in both those stand-ups, I deconstruct the backstage of the classical musicians. What's happening, how it's go, why we have shaking, what's going in orchestra, what's going with conductors, how we are learning, what I'm doing. So it's very funny.
I would love to see you do that. Do you perform it in English?
Yes, yes. First one was in English. In English, it's called Stand Down Harp. And I will now perform you just one small part because it's very, very interesting. You know, today the mobile phones are everywhere and people are losing like a little bit of culture to put the mobile phones on silent. So it is a little bit out of control. And I don't like to say on the beginning of the performance, it's forbidden, no. But I waiting always for the moment when first mobile phone start to ring.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And I don't do anything to do that person specifically. I speak about how it's in my world, orchestra world, what's happened when mobile phone is ringing during the rehearsal or probably concert, that we get ashamed. And after that, I perform this.
That's hilarious. I love that.
Yes. And my point is that also my stand-up is educational. And after that, I explain people that it's not Nokia tune. It's a grand valse who was written during the 9th century by guitarist Turan, Spanish guitarist and everything, so people can also learn something new.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I have a friend who is, he's not a musician, but he's an engineer. And he had friends who were musicians. And so they did something special where they had everyone who came to the concert scan a QR code that would give them a little piece of music. And then when the conductor would point at the sound engineer, he would push the button and all the phones would go off at the same time.
Oh!
And amazing. Play the music that, you know, like they became part of the orchestral performance.
Nice. Yes, that's very, very good when you can include the audience. And I also explain my audience history of the music. So if we have something so serious, today we are listening to classical pieces very, very serious. But is that Bach was so serious in that time, or he was writing and performing pop music for that period also? Right. Yeah. So I explained that Bach has 16 children. So how he can be so serious? And also I told everybody that his toccata was and there is a little break. It's not because he wanted to. In that moment, one of his kids called him, "Daddy, Daddy, 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 help me." And after that, he remembered. Daddy, Daddy, now. And everything. So, and I explained that Ravel Bolero was a piece who was written by for a bet. And something like that, and what's happening. So people like that kind of jokes, but true, and also learn something.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it's more fun for you. You know, you're engaged with the audience, you're engaged with the music. You're not just playing the piece that has to be perfect. I
always say to my pupils, I have adult pupils, I don't have small pupils, but that wrong note, it's not killing anybody.
Right.
It's not killing anybody. But if you are playing without passion, it can hurt somebody, especially your teacher. So
It's so important. People don't go to hear something perfect. They go to be moved.
Yes, they go to be moved, emotion. And so we can go back and by the music that I usually perform. I perform instrumental parts of a lot of heavy metal, pop, jazz, and everything. But when I start to performing and learning that, I want to know everything about that song. When it's who wrote it, what is written by that, what the words meaning, what's the writer, where was the writer in that time, what was the inspiration, because when you perform on harp, you don't have words, and you need to transfer your emotion and emotion of song to anybody. So I know every word of every song that I perform. It's very, very important to be serious about that, to go deep, to have your research, because your emotion can be transferred. But if you don't know what I'm doing, no.
It's just notes.
Yes,
just
yes.
notes after notes. So can you talk a little bit more about how you then use improvisation in what you're doing?
Okay. So in that period when I start to do that kind of, I listen a lot of Latin music, like Colombian, Venezuelan, and everything, and I start to listening harpist, who is very difficult to perform, like Peruvian or Venezuelan technique. It's very hard to perform on classical harp. But I was looking like that. So when I learned my pupils to improvise, I always give them advice to learn on one classical piece. You won't believe it, but yes, it's a canon in D, Pachelbel, because it's a perfect harmony round. It's D, A, B. I think that you in United States for H say B.
Yes.
Okay? Yes, okay. B, F sharp, G, D, G, A. So if pupils can, everybody who is beginner or professional, when they learn that round, they can play with that. They can do whatever they want. Can play just bass. After that, the second step is when they learn with left hand that bass, just to play with the right hand whatever they want, because they need to find own signature. Signature for improvisation. So whatever. And always tell them that there is no wrong note. Whatever they play, if they will play whatever, just the bass and left hand needs to be right. And when you are repeating that improvisation, your pattern, your own pattern comes out. My specific pattern is a 3. Like I like to play like this. That is mine, but basically that's the beginning. So with the left hand, that round, for me, I think it's very, very good for all kind of technical practicing and improvisation. That's the basic.
I love that. And then if you have a student who's reading the Pachelbel, then they can see in the music itself all the different variations, all the
Yes,
different improvisations that exist,
yes,
and
yes.
of course it gets played lots of
Basically,
different ways.
yes, basically that pupils who comes like adult, they don't want to learn read the music.
Right?
Yeah, I learned them to play intuitively,
Hmm.
and after a few months, they start to wanting to read the music
Hmm.
because I don't want to put them bargain on mind of it's very difficult to play harps from the beginning, and so if they are need to, okay, this is note C, it's in here, it's written here, they don't know what they are doing. So
Yeah.
first I learn with them slowly, and after that if they want it, they can start reading music, it's no problem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
beautiful. And
yeah,
it follows the natural progression of how people learn language anyway.
yeah,
Because when you think about how a child learns, first they hear, then they
yes,
speak, then much later they read, and much later they write.
I agree totally. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the same it's in music,
Hmm.
but some kind if in 21st century some kind is of change that you need to read the music before you start to play. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's
That stops so many people
yes,
from
yes,
wanting to play.
yes, yes.
So,
And also that was my first lesson when I started to go to lessons on jazz and improvisation on Monica Stadler. I in that time when I go on my PhD, I also have a jazz band, and we start to perform jazz classics like Take Five, Aqua Jobim mostly, and I learn harmonies, I learn rhythmizations and everything. And my first lesson with Monica, I was thinking, okay, she will now show me the world of improvisation. On the first, I will learn something. And she was asking me, and Doris, why are you here? And I said, I want to learn how to play jazz. And she told me, you already play jazz.
hmm.
And you already you're doing improvisations, and I can't learn you that. I can show you a few tricks for a better movement technique or something like that, but you are your own person. And it was always also for me kind of relief. You are with teacher, with somebody who is authority for you, she's perfect harpist. And I was thinking, okay, oh my God, I will shake myself. And she said, you are completely person. I will show you everything what do I know. But be aware that you have already your signature. And it
Hmm.
was like sky was opening for me.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful. That's wonderful.
yeah.
So I want to take a slight detour now and just ask you, we have about 15 minutes left to talk.
Okay.
And so do you have upcoming shows and gigs, things that if we're in Croatia in the next month or two?
Okay, okay. Yes, of course. Next week I have festival. It's very interesting. Croatia have a lot of ancient history. So, in Croatia, in Šibenik, was the second hydroelektrana. You know what is hydroelektrana? Energy powered by the water. You
Oh,
have on Niagara, yes. That was first, and the second was in Croatia in Šibenik. So first was in USA, the second was here, and also, and the same year in Croatia is for first who have tap water,
mm,
first tap water for drinking.
mm,
So yes, it was long time ago, and there is a festival who is dedicated to water. It's upcoming. Also, I have Beauty and the Beast
mm,
musical with my theater, and during the summer I will have a few solo concert. Also, I will perform on like background music in one resort.
mhm.
And I think that I will have 4 concerts in the Slovenia during the July. So all the time is something happening.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I think
Yes.
it's really important for harpists to hear that it's always a mix, that it's a mix of performances, it's a mix of type of gigs, and that there's teaching involved, and that's a complete life of any artist, I think.
Yes, yes. But I will tell you that in Croatia is everything a little bit harder than anywhere else. Because people, it's Balkan. It's something like, okay, we saw harp everywhere, and they don't ever. It's during my 30 years of career, I always start from the beginning of explaining what is harp, how I need to transport harp, where I need to be, how expensive is harp, what is going on, because everybody think if you are performing metallic on harp, it's like a guitar. You can bring it and play everywhere. So, and also need to be a little bit expensive than with the other musicians. It's not the same. It's very special if you are playing metallic on harp than when you play metallic on guitar. It's very, very different. So that's here is a little bit different, but I think that I'm doing very, very well.
Oh, that's
about that.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you teach only in person? Do you teach online also?
If somebody wants, yes. I have one girl from Belgium she heard on YouTube my performance of Hijo de la Luna. It's Spanish songs, and she write me down, and she want to learn it because it's her grandfather most he adores that song, and she wants to learn it for his birthday. So it's beautiful, and so we have lessons that she can perform it, because I don't write down music sheets, and I don't write arrangements.
Mm. So
I
you
want
teach it
to
by ear.
Yes, yes. I want to teach by ear because it's easier, and not for me. It's easier. It's easier for me to write arrangement and put the sheets and get the money. But I want from everybody to take out that artistic moment, because she won't perform the same like I did. Even she's listening all the time. That's the most beautiful thing. I think that's the most beautiful thing that you can, as a teacher, provide to your pupils.
Hmm. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. Yeah, you
yeah.
when no matter how you're teaching it, it's still, well, for me as a teacher, the most important thing is to help them be themselves
Yes, yes.
at the
And
heart.
learn them how to think and the way how to listen music.
Hmm.
Because first lesson is always, when you want to something perform, listen from the beginning to the end.
Hmm.
After that, do the research. What's going on? I I learned Spanish, but when I started to play Hijo de la Luna, I didn't know Spanish, and I was asked my friend, please can you translate me, because I want to know what's going on in that song, in every song. If it's
Hmm.
on, I don't know what language, I want to know, is it prayer, is it heavy, is it easy, what's going on. So I think that's the most thing that teachers can mm, teach pupils,
Yeah,
students. Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
I wanted to ask our listeners today if they have any questions, just pop them in the chat. And
Please,
yeah,
yes,
please ask us.
yes.
It's me asking lots of questions, but I'm delighted to have ask Doris to answer any questions that you
So
guys
should I perform some background music until that somebody asks
have.
questions?
I would like to hear some Metallica.
You want to hear Metallica?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. No, no disturb. You don't want to hear Sound of Silence?
Oh, I will hear. I'd love to hear that too.
Okay, I will mix it.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you. Do we have a question?
We have a question. Who was your biggest influence throughout your harp career?
Okay, through my harp career, I think of the harpist was Ismail Ledesma. He's still alive, and you can find him on Facebook and everything, because his performance of one piece who is called Cascada was a life changer for me. The other musical influence in me have a Victor Borg, pianist, Danish pianist, and also stand-up comedian. And one and the greatest is Deborah Henson-Contant. But I didn't hear of her until like 15 years ago, because we didn't have so much connection with the United States in Croatia. So I heard of her like 15 years ago. Also, I like Andreas Vollenweider, but it's not my type of music. I playing relaxing music, but not in that kind of mystical and everything, but it was in a harpist way. Yes. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Any other questions?
Okay, I will perform now Metallica.
Yep, let's hear some Metallica.
Until the second question.
Okay. Okay, we have a couple of nice metallic lists. Yeah, rock.
Yeah, it is shortcut of Metallica because it's longer. But if you want, if you are okay for that, we can meet another day, another. It doesn't matter, and I will just perform one
Okay.
concert for the audience, not talking. Okay, of course, question and something like that, but we can do a concert like 45 minutes. I can perform from jazz,
Oh,
from yes, Nick.
yes, that would
Yes.
be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I will
wonderful.
perform and Black Sabbath and Disturbed and Joe Cocker and everything just for Nick because Nick is fan of.
So we have a couple questions.
Mhm.
And Nick asked, what's the biggest misconception about the harp?
Misconception about the harp that harpist can play everything everywhere. Misconception, and that harpists are playing only classical pieces, and
Hmm.
that is only classical instrument.
All right. And we have somebody asking a question on Facebook that says, this is Carla Williams asking, so do you strictly memorize as you prepare for a concert? No lead sheets? You do
No
everything
lead
from
sheets. Yes,
everything from
from
memory?
memory. From memory, just the chords. I memorize the chords, and I always listen when I. And the most important part is when I doing the music like Michael Jackson, Metallica, Nirvana, and everything. I doing from originally tune because I playing when I put my ears and I playing with a harp. I originally, so if I performing the Earth song of Michael Jackson in from original tune of Michael Jackson, and always what is very very important for the maybe people who wants to perform some kind of covers like that, in first 35 or 40 seconds of your performance, you must follow the original
Hmm. Yep.
because it needs to be recognizable. After that, you can do whatever you want with your improvisation, with everything with you. But first 35 or 40 seconds, it need to be exactly like original if you want to that people recognize that song.
That's right. That's
Yes,
that's that's
yes,
true for
yes,
any for
yes.
song
Uh,
writing songs as well. It's the first
I
25 seconds that gets the
I'm doing like where I performing Metallica. I performing always, basically the first like that people can hear what I'm playing. Also, when I'm performing Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, I do little trick with the jazz introduction, like harp. And then I start with the riff. It needs to be recognizable.
Mhm.
So that kind of, you can play with everything what you want, but if you want to get attention of audience, it needs to be recognizable.
Yeah. So we have
Yeah.
time for one more question. Mary, I'm sorry I missed your question earlier. Thank you, Nick, for pointing that out to me. So she says, when you modify a song to have it sound the way you like with your own flair, do you play it different at different times to match your mood? Or do you tend to get it a certain way and keep playing it that way?
I tended to play on that way, but sometimes, yes, I can slow down or I can play it. But always during my performance, it's the piece of original how I learn. After that, I think that I show you with Nirvana what can I do, how you can perform, and I like to play with the notes, but I always keep my eye on audience to see are they nervous, are they like boring, maybe they don't understand what is music, and I always keep an eye and interaction with the audience. Also, a lot of time I make them to sing with me. Yeah,
that will keep them awake.
Yeah, because everybody knows I'm on a highway to hell. Psst, everybody knows that, so yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So this has been so much fun. The hour has gone by so quickly, but yes, let's right away. Let's get together and plan an online concert where you can play all of this stuff.
Okay.
And I would, Nick will schedule it around your availability as well, so you can be there.
Okay.
And and I'm sorry that I have to go teach now, so I have to.
Yes, of course.
I have to go at the top of the hour, but thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Doris. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Sojoa, who is joining us on the Facebook.
Nick, of course, from Evanescence.
Nick, yes.
Okay, it's amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope that soon we can arrange so you don't have to record that concert, so we can just have a Zoom and you can enjoy in relaxing harp, and I will perform it, so we can arrange it.
We'll arrange it very soon. Yes, we will. All right, thanks so everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Hugs from Croatia.
Hugs to Croatia. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye.
Bye.